I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Shalini Rajneesh. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to be part of this series with us.
Pleasure.
So, the first question to you, what does leadership mean to you?
I think leadership is a phenomena which is quite complex, but it comes so naturally when you are faced with a purpose and you have to achieve it by taking along a whole lot of your team members in unison.
We all know leadership involves an inspirational aspect, but there's also the management aspect. How is this distinction in your own experience?
Management, I think, is certainly linked to leadership and they are complementary to each other, yet management is not leadership and leadership is much more. When you talk of management, it gives you the idea of, the usual definition of to manage means to control, to plan, to coordinate, to achieve, and so on, efficiencies and things like that. But when you talk of leadership, as you rightly said, it's something to do with inspiring, it's something to do with nurturing, and it's something to do with achieving a larger vision, goal, and at the end of it, feeling so happy with a whole lot of people involved. The outcome is so beautifully intertwined with the purpose that everyone feels aligned to it, everyone feels committed to it, and that's what explains probably leadership.
Have you exercised collaborative leadership in the different initiatives that you've taken?
When I define my own purpose and when I define my own goal, that I would like to do something which makes a difference to the lives of these people for whom I'm there. And that leads to certainly collaborative leadership, because there's so many stakeholders involved. I mean, leader cannot be a leader without followers, or I would not like to use the word follower. Actually, it is leader with the team, isn't it? You lead a team and you lead a set of people who are having that common goal, right, and aspiration. So you have plenty of stakeholders and you cannot be a leader in a vacuum. You cannot think that you've done it all alone. It can happen only when everybody else collaborates with you with a sense of ownership.
So let's move a little bit to your work on Sakala itself. And could you explain a little bit more about this initiative?
Sakala, as you know, it's a Kannada word and it means Sa is good and Kala is time. So it's good time. It's good time for citizens. And thankfully, citizens have chosen this word for themselves. Basically, it means giving public services to the citizens in a time-bound manner. And I'm very happy to say that about 688 services of 52 different departments in the state have been given with 99% time-bound approach. And so far about 80 million citizens have availed of these services, and with great sense of satisfaction, which was not the case before this reform came in. As you know, you ask any citizen and they, what do they feel about government? And government officials, they are lazy, they are corrupt, they are inefficient and so on. And that's where they start comparing with the private sector. So this was the challenge, can government and government officials not become as efficient, as responsive to the citizens' requirements as any private or corporate sector would be? The corporate sector depends on a customer for its existence. We do not, unfortunately. But if we take this as a pro-social need, that yes, we exist for them, and it's not the usual British colonial mentality that we have. We are not the rulers, we are the servers. We are there to serve the people of whichever state or country wherever we are appointed. So are we doing it with a sense of service? Are we fulfilling the expectation that the citizen has? And the citizen, all he or she expects is that if they approach you for any service, you should do it in time.
And so what were some of the challenges then you faced in putting this together and actually making it happen?
Yeah. As you know, we are all individualists. We all have a certain set of parameters for each department, for each person for that matter. To standardize them and to bring them, harmonize them, and to bring them onto a single integrated platform was the biggest challenge. So you call a department of commercial tax is very different from department of agriculture or environment or revenue department and so on. So we've tried to find the common parameters in each of these departments and the services that they rendered to the citizens. And then we also found the commonalities, other commonalities like all of us are serving. So let's agree on certain common principles. So what are the common principles? That we will give a particular service in a particular time as defined by us. So keeping their individual distinctive characteristics intact, we brought them onto a single platform where monitoring would be done on a portal, wherein online basis we would know when a citizen applies and when he or she gets the service.
It's very nice to know. How have you sustained this change?
We usually, we talk of the carrot and stick principle. So in the act itself, we have an appreciation letter given to all employees. I have got about 600,000 employees in the state. All employees at the end of the year, if they do not default even once, and those who actually go beyond the call of their duty, who do it much faster than usual time which has been allotted by the act, we give them special awards, cash awards. So we've called it Sarvottam Seva Prashasti, which means extraordinary performance awards. It's on the pattern of Government of India giving Prime Minister's Excellence Awards. Similar thing, we give it at the state level, then district level, then taluk level also. So each department, the best performer gets it. And that becomes a kind of a benchmark for others to emulate. Why did he do it? How did he do it?
So the process of change, could you give us a little bit of an idea, right? Before Sakala and after, how did you in a sense, with some of the other players, orchestrate this process of change? Because there is one piece that had to do with the act, right? The passing of the reform itself.
Right.
And then thereafter the execution.
Yeah.
So could you give us a little bit of an idea of the flow?
There was a multi-pronged strategy we adopted. One, as you rightly said, the IT part of it. The NIC, the National Informatics Center, took it up. The other was the HR part of it, which Administrative Training Institute of Karnataka took it up. That is a 3 days module to do this mind change thing. So we had to reach out to each and every employee, right from the one who is at the counter to the one who actually signs. They all had to go through this module where technical aspects were not important. It was the psychological aspects, the service component, the attitudinal changes, motivational part, and so on. The third component was on the publicity part, which again was very important. You see, we have about, I think, 2,000 and odd acts passed, right? But how many of these acts are really known to the people for whom they have been passed? And do they know what kind of right, what kind of power they have been given under the act and how to exercise it? So this was a very proactive kind of a strategy that we took. The information department, one of our joint directors, Mamta Gowda, she led this whole thing. She's a journalist by her academic background, and she took it for all sections of society in a different way. For example, those who are illiterate, we used to have the street plays right at the Gram Panchayats level. Okay? Those who are literate, we took it up in press, media, TV, ads, and so on. We went on to the youngsters for the social media. So you have it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. So in all aspects, we tried to see that we reach out to the people. And we didn't stop at just that one-sided thing. We went into the interactive mode, wherein we got hold of various associations, and they're very handy,
What was your specific role? And what were the things, some of the things that you did? And maybe how did you strategize with an initial team? Did you have an initial team? What did that team look like?
Yeah.
Could you give us...
Sure. I had a core team of 5 people, lean and mean. And there was one of the additional mission director. He's another All India service officer. Then I had a state level service officer with me who had done wonderful job in revenue department. Then I had 2 people from the private sector. My government gave me the liberty to take it from private sector, whosoever I feel fit for the mission. And it was really in a mission approach. I had a management consultant and an IT consultant. The management consultant is an IIM graduate, and he was getting a big package. And when we asked him to join, what the words moved me. He says, getting an opportunity to work in government has been my dream, and I don't care what I get as a package, but it's that opportunity that you're giving me. I would come up to your expectations.
I mean, in terms of building the coalition, what did that involve? Because I mean, ostensibly, there are some losers in this process, right? I mean,
Certainly.
like, if this becomes faster, there are people who stand to lose. So, what was that like? How did you, let's say, negate that or neutralize that opposition? What were some of the strategies that you took?
See, this has not happened for ages now. Obviously, there's a vested interest. People who were not willing to give services on time had an axe to grind. They were making money. They were exploiting the citizens at various levels. This is well understood. So, when I said 80% were with us, 20% were not. So, you had to be smarter than them to beat the possible sabotage that they would be at. And it's not that it is without sabotage. For example, we had mandated that there will be boards on in front of every office which says which is the service, how much time, and who's responsible, and if not, who is to be contacted, and so on. Now, this was to empower the citizen. Without asking anybody, he or she should know what is there in store for him or her. But these people would remove the boards overnight. And some of them would, when the citizen would go to the counter, they would tell, no, you forget about this. This won't happen. You come to me, pay me a little more, I'll do it. So some such things were happening. So to outsmart them, we had to have a lot of vigilant, groups where from the office itself, from the public side also. Some of these associations that I'm talking about, we empowered the NGOs to go around and do this kind of a bit of an investigation and tell us. More than that, it was the again the E part of it, the data that I had. We were continuously analyzing that. For example, we had the service delivery time for driving license to be given in 7 days time. Now, I found suddenly that a particular office is giving this driving license in 1 day. That surprised me. I said, if they're super efficient and their own workflows they have kind of crossed so fast, and quietly we started examining where is it and how is it happening, and we found that actually they were not allowing the citizen to apply at the counter by way of those mediators who were there. They were asked to go to the mediator, fill in the forms, and on the same day they will give the application, on the same day they will take the application as license given. But it was not possible, because without a test you can't do it, and in 1 day the test cannot be done. So when we got hold of that black and white data, and we knew which school has given the certificate, we could immediately catch the people who were responsible for this kind of a hijack. So every day this kind of challenge was there. So analyzing the data, keeping our ears and eyes open, and getting lot of feedback from the citizen. Where my call center worked very well. They would proactively, they were given a task. Every day you will make 200 calls across the state and ask them, how is it going? And they will tell, look, so and so called me up and they said, you give me so much money and then I will do it. So immediately the superior authority was told, look, handle this. And when they knew that nothing is going to be hidden and they will be exposed, then this started coming down. So a constant monitoring is indispensable. Whatever systems you may put in place, human factor ultimately is always there as a challenge, and you have to be much more vigilant, much more faster in responding than the mischievous ones.
How did you persist through some of the difficult times, in the journey as a leader with the government?
One of my seniors said, you are persistence personified. So I said, this is short of calling me a pest, I think. but the fact remains that when I'm committed, when I'm very confident that what I'm persisting with or pursuing is something for a good cause, not for myself, it is for people in general, I have no shame about it or shyness about it. And I do persist till I get it, because I'm so confident that I will get it, and I'm also confident that it is worth getting it, whatever it takes. So persistence for me, I think, comes naturally, because once I have decided the purpose of my pursuit, I will pursue it till I get it.
We've been in conversation with Dr. Shalini Rajneesh, who has led the Sakala mission in Karnataka, which has brought transparent, timely and responsive government to the people